Canada is on the cusp of a rental housing crisis. Reports warn that shortages could quadruple by 2026. Hello everybody, Joe Kehoe here from LePage ProAlliance, servicing your residential and commercial real estate needs for Bay of Quinte and Prince Edward County. Thank you for joining me for another video this week. This week we'll be talking about Canada's rental housing shortage crisis. So when it's not the resale market making headlines, what can the media point to? The rental market. As many of you may know, if you're renters or if you're landlords, the rental market has become extremely competitive and unaffordable for renters. This puts people who are renting at a big disadvantage because a lot of their monthly income is going towards rent if they can even secure a place. Let's take a look at this article with stats from RBC that actually shows the fundamentals of the Canadian housing market and how the supply shortages are shrinking and prices are going up. Right from the horse's mouth from RBC. So last year, Canada's purpose-built rental housing stock grew by its fastest pace actually since 2014. We're just not keeping up with demand. Supply is not keeping up with demand. Vacancy rates are a 2-decade low. They're at 1.9%. The ideal vacancy rate is 3%. We're not close to that. Toronto and Montreal, as you would expect, saw the sharpest inclines in demand, but not a lot of supply because it's so expensive to build purpose-built rentals in those city centers. We all kind of know the reason this is happening. It's immigration, a lot of it, right? We have record levels of immigration, and even though we do have record levels of construction, it's just not enough. As you can see here, there's the graph for apartments being built. We're building the most since we did in 2013, but as I said, it's just not keeping up with the demand. Demand drove record rent increases as well. As I talked about affordability standpoint, I know there are rental increase guidelines, but when there's rental turnover, these rents are jumping 10-20%. As you may know, if the property is built after 2018, there are no rent increase guidelines that you have to abide by. So I mean, those people who have been in there, they're just getting their rent increased up to market basically every time they're up for renewal. Rental vacancy rate, 2-decade low, which I mentioned before. I don't see this rising just because of the cost to construct these buildings. The developers are taking on a lot of risk and not much reward in the short term. And that leads us to Canada being short more than 120,000 rental units by 2026. So they're estimating we have a 25,000 to 30,000 deficit right now. If this continues, we may be in trouble. I'll put this link in the bio for anyone who wants to review this report more in depth. Last thing here, rental shortage poised to quadruple, as we just went over. This may not increase. If rates are up and these developers aren't incentivized to develop rental housing, they're taking on a lot of risk, like I said, for not a lot of short-term reward. They're almost better to just lend on these projects and sit back. So I think the government has to do some type of incentivizing to incentivize these developers to actually build these apartments. So I know that's a little bit of a long-winded rant, but let me know what you guys think. If it's me, I think the government needs to incentivize this purpose-built rental projects a little bit more. If I'm a developer and I can build condos or I can build rental housing, I can pre-sale these condos, I can get my money back and get out and go on to the next project, where this rental housing, I have to take on a risky construction mortgage. I have to then stabilize the property with all these tenants. Then maybe I can refinance down the road and then get my money out. It's a lot more risky project doing that, especially with rates high. Maybe I'll just private lend on a project and not take on nearly close to the risk. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free. You can contact me. All my website bio link, everything is down below. I'll also link that article that I was ranting through. Feel free to reach out. See you guys next week. Thank you for watching.